It might not be clear to the eye because of my sunglasses, but what you can see here is me sitting and crying in a transfer bus full of other tourists on the way to the airport. It doesn't look as bad in the video because this was just the beginning of it and the real meltdown wasn't captured on video. But I was sobbing, nearly uncontrollably crying my heart out. How did I get here? July 30th, 2024. Melissa and I are about to have one, if not the best, vacation trip of our lifetime. The destination? Crete, located in the Mediterranean Sea and the biggest Greek island. We've been here before, twice, and it was better each time. Our trip started with a very early flight from Munich to Heraklion and via transfer bus to our hotel, the Seaside Resort. I'm not getting paid to say this, but it is an awesome hotel. The architecture perfect, the views stunning, the food good, and the staff is always awesome. The time we had was mesmerizing. Great weather, great location and day trips by car, even greater food and awesome people. Greek is fantastic, except for the other tourists, and yes, I am one of those tourists who thinks he's a better kind of tourist. Anyway, Crete. Cool, Simon. All right, Crete, awesome island, great trip. We get it, but why the fuck did you cry on a bus full of people on your way back home? After the 9 awesome days we had on Crete, it was time to leave. Departure day, August the 8th. We kicked off our day by getting up early, watching the sunrise and pretending it wasn't the last I was here. The cats helped. Breakfast, sunbathing, pool, lunch. But as the hours went by, the checkout happened, our mood got worse. Sad about the fact that this is a goodbye. And of course, the inevitable happened. The bus to the airport picked us up in the afternoon, and both of us, quietly, wistfully, taking the back seats in the bus. Melissa's mood didn't change during the transfer. Definitely was sad that we had to leave, but I think deep down she was just happy that it happened. She even filmed a few things and waved the island goodbye. For me though, as soon as I sat down in the bus, my mood got worse. A feeling in my stomach rose and rose. It was like a pressure of some sort, as something in me was burning my insides and was dying to break out. But me being the way I am, I obviously kept the emotion in place. Strong man shit, you know. It must have been like 10 minutes into the bus ride, 10 minutes of me telling myself that I'm a man. I just need to deal with that shit by holding it back and blah 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 blah, and boom, tears. The first tear rolled down my face, and at this point I'm still trying to hold it in. I held it back until the wall of my urge to pretend I'm a strong and emotional, controlled man broke down. I still tried to hide it from everyone else, even Melissa, by keeping my sunglasses on or like rubbing my head like this so nobody would see my face. I even pretended to search for something in my backpack, which was right next to me, so I could hide behind the front seat where Melissa was sitting. But in that moment, I just felt helpless. I felt run over by my emotions. And before you ask, yes, of course, Melissa eventually noticed what was going on and immediately took my hand and helped me quietly through that moment. But why did I cry? Do you sometimes feel sad because you aren't away from home? Feeling sad because you are not away and not in a specific location for vacation? It's like the need to travel somewhere. In Germany, we call it Fernweh. And I think in English it would translate to like Wanderlust. I don't know how to say the word. I've just read it. ChatGPT gave it to me. But anyway, You know what I mean. And I had this feeling before. In 2019, I traveled to London and I had a similar feeling about leaving the place. Yeah, departure day was there and I was sad that I had to leave London because it was an awesome city. So yes, I had feelings like this before, but not to an extent like crying. I hope she doesn't get mad with me for sharing this. I have a vivid memory of my mom at Vancouver airport, being sad, having a few tears running down her face after a family trip to Canada many years ago. I was still a kid, and back then I couldn't imagine loving a place away from home so much that I would cry because I had to leave it. Of course, I wasn't judgmental of my mom back then. I was just curious because I couldn't understand why she was so upset. We were about to go home. Home is good. Home is safe, isn't it? And sitting in that bus, slowly getting a hold of me again, I thought about that moment with my mom. And I was like, oh, okay. I get it now? And in the bus, this was the final conclusion of what just happened. Later though, I came to the realization that it wasn't just Crete that I would miss. Even though I miss the island every day. The reason why my emotion that day went out the way they did was because this trip gave me a few days off of my standard day-by-day stress. I didn't think about my mental health. I didn't think about the bills, the work, struggles, lifelong problems, stress with friends, family members, co-workers, therapy, all of it. Everything at home that made me feel bad was on hold for those 9 days. And on the day we went back home, my brain and my heart realized I'm not just going back to my own bed, my own toilet, my television. I'm going back to the stress, the struggling, the bad feelings. It was the ease I was going to miss. Being free from my own mental health. On top of my emotional outbreak, can you call it that? Yeah, just whatever. On top of my emotional outbreak, the remembering of my mom at Vancouver airport, the weird feeling of being in love with a specific place in the world, the crying, the realization where it all really came from, I also felt ashamed. I felt ashamed in that moment, crying on the bus, full of strangers. Who does that? What kind of man does that? Jesus. But why though? Why was I ashamed of myself in that moment? The more I thought about it, the less I could actually find a solid answer to that. Isn't it weird how we are taught to suppress emotions, especially as a man? We are told to be strong and stoic and never to show vulnerability. But the reason of me breaking down in a bus full of strangers was because of emotions, like old emotions, like long time ago emotions I held in ever since because I was ashamed of letting them out. I was ashamed of giving them room to breathe, to express, and to leave my soul. And then Melissa noticed what was going on, and she took my hand, and it was in that moment that I realized I really shouldn't guilt trip me with shame. Because if my wife doesn't think bad of me, why should I? And who gives a fuck about those strangers? Those touristy tourists with, if they're German, socks in their sandals. Or if they're Linus Tech Tips. No offense, Linus, I really like you. What I'm trying to say with this video are two things. First, me talking openly and publicly about what happened is a try to grow furthermore personally, getting more comfortable with my emotions and myself. Because secondly, it's okay. It really is. It's okay to cry alone at home. It's okay to cry in company of good friends, loved ones, and family. It's okay to cry in a bus full of people. We need to finish the we kind of need to finish the video without my backlight. I'm awfully sorry, but the battery died. Your body wanting to cry is an important mechanism. I mean, medically, of course, it is. Something's in your eye, you need to get it out, or pain relief. Anyway, I'm not Dr. Mike, so that's just... The need for crying isn't a way for your body to publicly shame you. Why would it? It's because something needs to get out. A feeling, an emotion, because it's not doing good for you. Crying is relieving, and it definitely doesn't make you less of a man. Because if dealing with shit makes you a man, dealing with your emotions does so too. Bus full of people back home. On the way back home. Fuck. After hour. After hour. Chapter 5, all of it. So the guy from the edit. Okay, I'm the guy from the edit. Anyway, it's all of it. Of my mom at Vancouver Airline. On Vancouver Airline. Vancouver should have an old airline.